What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down on what is really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid's down 3.24%, finally showing some signs of life that it does want to move higher. 206 the low, 213 the high. Somewhat okay volume, so 63 million shares being traded. 142 is the average. Of the volume though, most of it is coming from algorithmic trading, and that is feeding off the negativity associated to Trump's big beautiful bill. And then even looking at both the secondary market and also the dark pool, this is how you can kind of tell most of the volume is coming from algos, because just the volume doesn't necessarily jive. There was one big transaction that did occur on the dark pool, 1.76 million, 850,000 shares. So some institutions are clearly paying attention to Lucid. And even looking at the secondary market, you are honestly seeing some institutions buying the dip. So first thing, you saw some buying, same thing as most recently, string of selling right here, but nonetheless, this is why I don't really like algorithmic trading. Is kind of it's manipulative in some cases, because essentially if you look at the true data, big money is buying the dip. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Aside from that, there hasn't really been anything associated to Lucid, no speculative topics to really bring up. It is just merely piggybacking off of the broader market. Shorts though are taking advantage. They are right now returning 266,000 shares. 33.34% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 411 million shares. So shorts are taking advantage of kind of the sell-off just to kind of return, but that wasn't necessarily the case, because as you can kind of see, first thing, shorts were increasing 5.3 million. So they were absolutely hitting Lucid hard. That's obviously suppressing it quite a lot right here. And then you just most recently have them just return. It just drops like a rock. So for whatever reason, they are returning a significant amount, and that is pretty much helping it push off of the lows. So yeah, unfortunately, given the circumstances, shorts are still very active with Lucid. It's good to see them return though. So let me know your viewpoint on that. Aside from that though, looking at the options, 803,000 in calls, 470,000 in puts, 78% of all the options being done are bearish in nature. So that is rather surprising. You are seeing in a lot of cases in the market today, you have, yes, everything selling off, but you have a certain sense of optimism that we are going to recover, that this was just going to be like a one-off type of sell-off. But in this case, it looks like big money does feel that Lucid is going to stay low. Again, maybe because of Trump's big beautiful bill. Yet to be seen if that is bullish for Lucid or not. Certain analysts from BNP think it's optimistic. I believe that Lucid essentially doesn't qualify for that 7,500 credit, but what do I know? Aside from all of that though, looking at the bulls, you see a consensus for it to be above 250, and then the bears for it to be sub 2, and even going forward, looks like the week of the following week of their earnings for it to be sub $1.50. So kind of interesting. What's your viewpoint, for instance, on their upcoming earnings? I will be doing a deeper dive closer to that date. We have a good month still pretty much. But again, closer to that date, I'll do a little bit more of a deeper dive. These are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So string of buying first thing, especially as well most recently, then a string of selling kind of right smack dab in the middle. So this is what really did kill that momentum when it was trying to recover right here. Aside from that though, with it right now at 209, currently trading between this pivot and this S1, 203 is going to be a strong support. Hasn't been tested today. Most likely won't. And then you have 213 going to be the next strong target / resistance, and that conveniently is the high for today. So we do know that's a heavy resistance point, so just kind of watch for that. Aside from that, there hasn't really been any new analyst ratings as a byproduct from their Q2 earnings. So just the two that did come in, as I've brought up. Even articles, nothing really substantial to bring up. So let me know your viewpoint on that. So this today literally is just piggybacking off the broader market for the most part. Lucid's technicals don't look all that great, currently sitting on that ALMA, well below all the key pivotal moving averages as I've shared with you. Stochastic RSI, you see it somewhat neutral in nature. So yeah, I think overall today, the technicals, like it's just waiting. Now people are just waiting for the next big catalyst, and clearly that is going to be their upcoming earnings, and that is slated for August the 5th. So what do you feel the next big catalyst is? Do you think that there's going to be some fireside chat, some partnership or something like that? Mark, on a side note, does seem to be fairly active on LinkedIn, so doing a lot more posts on there. So maybe that does mean he's coming out of his shell, maybe even doing some interviews prior to the earnings. I think that would be a pretty good catalyst depending on what he does state. And if it's optimistic, then yeah, Lucid essentially should really move higher as a because of that. So let me know your viewpoint on Lucid. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What do you think about all of this volatility? Are you kind of tired of it? Are you taking advantage and buying the dip? What's your general thoughts on all that? One final thing. Pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.